small topic. So starting with the sinus. Sinus is a blind tract leading from surface down into the tissue. It is a blind tract. We don't know what is the origin and where it ends. It is a blind tract. Suppose this is the tissue and this is the sinus. So we don't know where it starts, where it ends, but this is a blind tract which starts from the surface and then goes down into the tissue, and it is lined with granulation tissue. It is lined with granulation tissue. So there can be few examples of sinus. First can be congenital sinus. Second, acquired sinus. Then acquired sinus can be of two types, that is medial mental sinus and pilodinal sinus. Then there can be osteomyelitis and the most common sinus in neck region is tubercular lymphadenitis. So congenital sinus. What can be the example of congenital sinus? Pre-auricular sinus. The example of congenital sinus is pre-auricular sinus. Pre-auricular sinus is a type of congenital sinus. Then median mental sinus occurs or results from the tooth abscess. Okay. Then pilonidal sinus. Pilonidal sinus का example can be anal, occurs in the midline in anal region. It occurs in the midline in the anal region. Okay. Then osteomyelitis. It is associated with the pus discharging sinus. It is a type of pus discharging sinus, and it can be or it can without be with bony spiculas. It can be with or without bony spiculas. Then as we studied, the most common sinus in neck region. So this is associated with pus. This also discharges pus. The material is cheesy, white material, and skin surrounding sinus shows the bluish discoloration. There will be bluish discoloration, cheesy material discharge, and in osteomyelitis there will be bony spiculas, or there cannot be bony spiculas, but there will be pus discharging. Then median mental sinus occurs as a result of tooth abscess, and pilonidal sinus occurs in the midline of the anal region. So starting with the fistula. What is fistula? Remember, it is an abnormal communication. Not like the sinus. Sinus was a blind tract, but this is an abnormal communication. Then there is two things in case of fistula. First, it can either be internal or it can be external. So how internal? When the communication is between the lumen of one viscus to the lumen of another viscus. Okay, it is not penetrating or not coming outside the surface. It is inside, but between two lumens. Okay, then it is known as internal. And when the communication is between one hollow viscus and with the exterior body surface, okay, then it is known as external fistula. So the example of internal fistula can be tracheoesophageal fistula and clovovesicular fistula. And the example of external fistula can be branchial fistula, thyroglossal fistula, or it can be orocutaneous fistula. Orocutaneous fistula when there is an oral cavity, carcinoma of oral cavity. Due to that, orocutaneous fistula happens. So this was all about the definition and example of sinus and fistula. Now we will be studying about the clinical examination of sinus and fistula. Okay, so the clinical examination, how will we examine the sinus and fistula? First of all, there are three main things, that is three main things. But first is history, inception and palpitation. We will ask these three from the patient. So what includes the history? So there are some points. First of all, we will ask patient if it is present from birth or it occurred after birth. So if it is from birth, it can be congenital, or if it is after birth, it can be acquired. So second, we will ask was there any trauma occurred or any surgical procedure, because if there was a trauma, if patient is saying that there was a trauma and after that there is sinus and fistula, so it can be due to the any foreign body remain in that sinus or fistula, such as bullets, pallets, thrones. And if the patient says there was a surgical procedure, so it can be due to any suture material left. So due to that the sinus or fistula occurred. So in fact, in surgical wards, there is a stitch granuloma which occurs due to the leftover sutures or foreign body such as sutures. Next, we will ask if there is any pain or swelling, or first there was a pain and then swelling occurred, and then swelling ruptured, then the pain occurred. Because it is typically seen in children when it is osteomyelitis. Okay, there will be pain, fever, recurrent swellings, and then rupture. First there will be pain, then there will be fever, then recurrent of swelling, and that swell will rupture. So it is also seen in pilonidal sinus. As we studied in the classification or example for sinus, pilonidal sinus occurs in the midline of the anal region. Okay, then we will ask for the is there any discharge, or if it is present, the discharge is present, what is the color of discharge? If it is a serous fluid. Okay, so there is chances that there is no infection. Okay, like there is a branchial cyst, and if there is a thick white cheesy or creamy discharge, then it can be due to tubercular sinus. Next, we will ask about smell, that discharge have any smell or any foul smell or no smell. Okay, if like in abdominal sinus, foul odor is due to Escherichia coli infection. There can be a bacterial infection, fungus infection, which is causing the foul smell of discharge. Then we will ask the patient if there is any bony spicules, as we studied in osteomyelitis. So if there is any bony spicules, we can say it may be osteomyelitis. Okay, so then we can ask that if there is a cough or multiple sign, we can check for the multiple sinus in the lymph nodes, or the rising of temperature in evening. Okay, it suggests the tubercular etiology. When there is a cough, multiple sinus in region of lymph nodes, and temperature rises in evening, we can say it is due to tubercular. Okay, And in case of bony spicules, there is a term which is sequestrum. What is this? This is a dead bone. There can be a presence of dead bone, that is spicules. It can be dead. So we will, in history, we will be asking the patient about it is from birth, what is the color of discharge, pain, swelling, bony spicules. Okay, we will be asking the patient in history all this. Next is inception. In case of inception, we will ask the patient few more things, like first is location, then number, then opening, about discharge, and surrounding skin. We will see all this by our own. We will inspect कि लोकेशन क्या है, नंबर क्या है, ओपनिंग है या नहीं, डिस्चार्ज कैसा है और सराउंडिंग स्किन कैसी है. सो लोकेशन में we will diagnose the location of sinus and fistula. Like in case of sinus, we talked about preauricular sinus, which was the example of congenital sinus. If there is a presence of preauricular sinus, where it is present, it is in the front of the root of helix of ear due to the failure of fusion of ear tubercles. When there was the fusion of ear tubercles, if it failed, so it will occur as preauricular sinus. Okay, the direction can either be upward or downward. Then it can be at median mental sinus like symphysis menti, then tubercular sinus at the region of neck, and then lymphogranuloma, that is groin region. Okay, then in case of number, we will see that these are single or in multiple. Okay, then opening, we will see that there is a sprouting, there can be either a sprouting granulation tissue, or there can be it can be flushed with skin. Okay, like in tuberculosis, or sprouting, like this is the surface, it is sprouting. Okay, it is ये ऊपर दिख रहा है सरफेस के, सो इट विल बी स्प्राउटिंग. इट इज कैन बी ड्यू टू एनी फॉरिजन बॉडी, कोई ऐसी फॉरिजन बॉडी है जो स्प्राउट ऊपर आ रही है स्किन से, और आइदर इट कैन बी फ्लश्ड इन द स्किन, देयर इज नो स्प्राउटिंग लाइक इन ट्यूबरकुलोसिस. Then is discharge. In case of discharge, we will see there can be different type of discharge, that is white thin discharge, yellow purulent discharge, facial, yellow granules, thin mucus discharge, or urine. Okay, so if there is white thin discharge, it can be due to tuberculosis. If there is a yellow discharge, it can be due to staphylococci. If there is a fecal, it can be fecal fistula. If there is a yellow granulation, it can due to actinomycosis. Okay, if there is a thin mucus discharge, it can be due to branchial fistula. So after seeing all this, after the inception, we can know, if we see the location, we see the discharge, color of discharge, so we can know that what type of fistula is it is a fistula or is it a sinus, and which type of fistula and sinus. So next is the last, we will be seeing the surrounding skin, that what is surrounding skin like. If the surrounding skin is red, angry looking, there can be inflammation. If it is bluish coloration, there can be tuberculosis. If there is pigmentation, or it can be due to chronic sinus. So in case of palpation हम उसको palpate करके देखेंगे और हम कुछ चीज़ें notice कर सकते हैं, like temperature and tenderness is increased if there is inflammation of sinus. If there is inflammation present, then on palpating it can rise in temperature and tenderness, like in case of pilonidal sinus. Pilonidal sinus. Okay, then we will see if after applying pressure there is discharge. Okay, discharge after application of pressure, it suggests the nature of fluid. Okay, if there is a white cheesy material, that it can be due to the tuberculosis. Okay, then we will see the fixicity, that after palpating, if it feels like it is fixed, it is firm to place, like in osteomyelitis bony spicules are fixed. Okay, and we can see palpation at a deeper plane, like there can be a presence of submandibular stone in case of submandibular fistula. When we will palpate, it is a palpable. Okay, submandibular, we will feel a stone like structure in mandibular fistula, or there can be enlarged nodes in tuberculosis. Okay, so all this first we will take the history, then we will inception, and then palpitations. So after doing all this, after clinical examination, we can say, we can for further information we can investigate the sinus and the fistula. So how we can go for a complete blood picture, that is ESR. Okay, if so we can know if the ESR is increased, there can be any presence of in case of like tuberculosis, if there can be any infection. Okay, we can go for FBS, fasting blood sugar, or postprandial blood sugar. Okay, to rule out diabetes. Then we can go for X-ray. We can know from X-ray, we can know about in case of like osteomyelitis of mandible or toe, we can see if there is a foragen body. Okay, or any spicules present. Then we can go for like fistulography and sinusography. Fistulography and sinusography is done to know the exact extent and origin of the sinus and fistula, that from where it is originating. As we know, the fistula is a blind, sinus is a blind track. We don't know the origin and the ending, so we have to do a sinusography. Okay, so and at last we can go for biopsy. Okay, from the edge of the sinus, from the edge of the sinus we take. Okay, and we can, if there is a specific etiology is suspected, either tuberculosis or malignancies there, so we can go for biopsy. So after doing all this, how we will manage all these things, the sinus and fistula. First of all, there are few examples, like in case of I talked about there can be a sequestrum present, that is dead bone. If there is a dead bone present, we can do sequestrectomy for osteomyelitis. Okay, if there is control in case of tubercular sinus, we can control the tuberculosis, or if there is the presence of any foragen body, we can remove that. Okay, so most important in management there are four things we can say the basic principle. Okay, first we will be giving the antibiotics, the suitable antibiotics. Second, adequate rest is important. Rest is important. Then adequate excision. If there is a foreign body or anything present, we will excision. And the fourth is the adequate drainage. If there is a pus present, we will drain them. So this is the main four principle, which is basic principle of managing sinus and fistula. Okay, antibiotics, adequate rest, adequate excision, and adequate drainage. So here we complete with the whole sinus and fistula. We studied about what is sinus, what is fistula, then we talked about the examples, then we talked about the clinical classification, then we talked about the investigation and the management of sinus and fistula. Wound. The topic is wound. We have all seen wounds. हम सबको चोट लगी है and in childhood, and we have seen a lot of type of wounds. So today we will talk about the types of wound, what is wound, and how we can classify the different type of, how we can name the class. So in case of palpation, हम उसको palpate करके देखेंगे और हम कुछ चीज़ें notice कर सकते हैं, like temperature and tenderness is increased if there is inflammation of sinus. If there is inflammation present, then on palpating it can rise in temperature and tenderness, like in case of pilonidal sinus. Okay, then we will see if after applying pressure there is discharge. Okay, discharge after application of pressure, it suggests the nature of fluid. Okay, if there is a white cheesy material, that it can be due to the tuberculosis. Okay, then we will see the fixicity, that after palpating, if it feels like it is fixed, it is firm to place, like in osteomyelitis bony spicules are fixed. Okay, and we can see palpation at a deeper plane, like there can be a presence of submandibular stone in case of submandibular fistula. When we will palpate, it is a palpable. Okay, submandibular, we will feel a stone like structure in mandibular fistula, or there can be enlarged nodes in tuberculosis. Okay, so all this first we will take the history, then we will inception, and then palpitations.